and some things that you don't know. Some things that God gave you, and some things that maybe He didn't give you, but you'll find out. And some things that you have, not for yourself, but for someone else. And that kind of service to someone else allows you to live a better life. And that's the life that we have to teach our children, because we're so caught up in ourselves. And I'm telling you to hug yourself, because that's important too. But you've got to reach out to the child that doesn't look so happy, that don't have the things that you have, and maybe won't even get what you think. Maybe they won't get where you want them to be. But you've got to reach out and help that child. And that kind of hugging of yourself is a very different hug. And they're not teaching us any place how to hug ourselves, how to love ourselves, and how to have the patience with ourselves that we have to teach ourselves. And unfortunately, every child in our public school system is suffering. Even the ones that are brilliant, they're suffering. Because our school system is not designed to, one, love our children. See, before you even teach children, I've been doing that for over 30 years, probably longer than that. But before you even teach children, what I've learned through my experience and some of my best mentors, because I stand on the shoulders of many great women and men. And what I had to learn first was to put aside all that I learned in those institutions. Okay. I have those degrees, but those degrees did not help me to be the great teacher that I knew that I could be. I had to put that aside and to work with my people. Because working with my people is a challenge. But I love my people. And when I understood what love can do, because love moves more than money, more than intelligence, because I've seen some very intelligent people do some very mean things, and they weren't about love. So the first thing I had to learn is that I had to love my children, my family, my community, and every time I stepped outside of my community, I had to love them unconditionally. So to my Haitian brothers and sisters, I am loving you unconditionally, and I am learning. And I could go on, but I have to stop right now.
We have some powerful women in here. Thank you.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Arna Leton.
Maybe we can keep the comments a little brief, but we're getting down to the end. We do want Sister Rose to be able to come and share some stuff with us at the end. So go ahead. Say your name again, because I interrupted you. I'm sorry, my sister.
That's okay. My name is Arna Leton. I am a performing artist, and I'm also an educator. I'm very happy that you mentioned how much love you have for the Haitian community, and I must tell you that I feel very blessed to sit here and to learn from all of you sisters. Thank you so very much. What I want to do, if you would please allow me, is to do a little educating, just for 2 minutes, to tell you a little bit about the great Haitian women that we have in our history, what they've done. And also, the second purpose I have here is to let you know that I do believe that God has called the African American woman to be the one to lead the Black diaspora into its own purpose, to knowing who he and she is. Because basically I had to learn about loving myself as an African American Haitian woman by learning from you, by being here in America. I had to learn about my skin, loving my hair from you, because you taught me how to do that. And how can we teach Haitian women how to love themselves? And so that's the question I have. And may I please have like maybe 1 minute to just expound a little bit on certain Haitian women that have done great things?
1 minute.
1 minute.
We're going to keep everybody to 1 minute now,
quick.
so that Sister Rose can have some
quick.
comments at the end.
I want to start with, of course, Toya. Toya was a woman. She was an Amazon slave who was brought over to Haiti, and she ran away. While she was running away, she heard a wailing and a crying in the woods. And as she was trying to figure out where that yelling and crying was coming from, she went and she found a woman in labor. The woman was just in terrible labor. She helped a woman give birth. After she helped the woman give birth, the woman told her, please take care of my baby. Now, she had to give up her freedom because she had to go back to the slave quarters to take care of that baby. So when she picked up the baby, she said, you shall be the liberator of this country. That baby was Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And Tola was the woman who raised Jean-Jacques Dessalines, who was the one who brought our country all the way to independence.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's important. Thank you. 1 minute, please, okay? So let's go over to this mic now. Please introduce yourself and keep your comments to 1 minute, please.
Pat Sloan, I'm a public health nurse and I'm currently at Chicago State University. Unconditional love is wonderful. The rites of passage, I would hope, would be focusing for our young people on celibacy, and for our older people, because recent research has shown that 35-year-olds and up have very similar behaviors to teenagers. It is unconscionable that our African American women in the United States of America have the fastest growing rates of new cases of HIV infection. We cannot ignore that with this unconditional love, we need to use latex condoms because they won't necessarily tell you everything that went on when they were in jail or in prison.
Thank you.
My name is Zenobia Lewis, and I live in Queens, New York. And I give honor and thanks to all the beautiful sisters up there and your wonderful remarks. I was blessed last June 2003 to retire. And in December, I moved from Washington, D.C., where I lived, in with my daughter to help raise her, at that time, a 14-month-old daughter. So my granddaughter is now 21 months old. And we talk about, and a lot of people when they hear, they go, oh, there's a very surprised, and also, what a sacrifice for you. This is no sacrifice. This is no sacrifice. I remember being raised by my grandmother in Virginia when I was 4 to 8 years old, when my parents migrated to upstate New York, Schenectady, New York, the coldest place in the winter. And you know, there was a place at the grandmother's house. I knew I was loved, and I got taught different things, and just running around on the farm. It was just a wonderful experience. And it's just a natural thing that you do, and there is place obviously for grandmothers in grandchild's life. So I'm just very pleased that you know, we've got books by African Americans, and she's at the stage now where she really loves books because we've introduced her several months ago, and she'll go and pick the book that she wants us to read. And she just loves one particular book. We open it up, we see brown toes and brown feet, and a girl with big brown eyes that look just like her, and hair that looks like her, and she really loves that book. She just picks it up all the time. So this is our, you know, for those who have the opportunity to do more with your own, you know, within your own family, to help raise children. And if I get a contract in Haiti, she comes with me.
Thank you so much. My sister.
Hi, my name is Jennifer. I'm from New York. I guess I need to start off by saying that my mother was a Restavec. And
We can't hear you.
my mother was a Restavec.
Explain that.
Yes, explain that.
Explain it.
From my brief understanding of it, because I didn't find out about it until a year ago, it's almost like a child slave in Haiti. And she grew up with the mentality, even when she sent me back to Haiti, you know, I always heard, you know, blanche-chaude or light-skinned women were always better than dark-skinned women, and so on. And, you know, as I grew up and as I become my own individual, you know, I start to realize that I don't know as much about my Afrocentrism as I should. And, you know, I mean, I've started, you know, first by cutting my hair. That was a big no-no, because, you know, Haitian women gotta have long hair. And I guess the thing is, there's just so much information. It's a little overwhelming. And I guess I'm just trying to determine, how do I take the first step to become more familiar with my Afrocentrism? You know, how do I go about, but the thing is, there's just so much information. How do you focus on, you know, like on a particular author or a particular book, or, you know what I mean?
What we're hoping is at the end, Sister Rose is going to give us a proposal. That's why we're going to leave her a little time for, about how we take this and turn it into something that's not just a meeting that ends. And part of that would be dispersing information and providing sisterhood, because, you know, we're our most important supporters, each other. So we want to get to that. That's why we're trying to keep everybody's remarks down so we can give her the mic, okay? Sister Barbara.
Oh, thank you, Sister Barbara. I'm Barbara Wheeler.
We like these Barbaras.
I'm Barbara Wheeler, and I just want to say that Sonia Sanchez said it best. It ain't easy being a queen. In this world, and now paraphrase it, pill-pushing, diet-conscious Mr. Anns and Miss Anns. But it's evident from this room that we be steady trying. I want to address the last question because I see in this room such ability. And I would just wonder if we could not establish a clearinghouse for the curriculum of inclusion, for the rites of passage that we could use to share.
A pad and some paper. If people can put down ways to get in touch with them. I don't know if we have enough paper on this side, if people have paper on that side, and so we'll be able to stay in touch with each other, okay? Oh, we have a brother. All right. Welcome, my brother. That's Brother O'Reilly. Okay, my brother.
Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. Well, I guess the first male that is going to speak here. I hope I'm not going to...
We can't hear you. You have to speak into the mic, my brother.
I hope I'm not going to get crucified, what I'm going to say. And I've been advocating for this particular thing I want to say since I was maybe 14 years old. I'm very conscious of who I am as a black man. In particular, the way that our women of today and yesterday dress. What I'm questioning is this: why do our women have to dress up and be showing their stomach?
Yes.
I don't know what is beautiful about that. Now, we look.
Let the brother speak, because he's only got a minute, you know. He's not going to talk too long.
I look at this room where we are today. I see everybody beautiful. I see everyone well dressed. Can we keep it like that? One more thing that I want to say is this. Information for everybody here. By profession, I'm a pharmacist. And I've stopped a lot of parents allowing the system to give Ritalin to their children. I have children today that are in college now or on their way to college, whom they were classified as ADDH. But what we did is, because these kids have to get this prescription, we get it filled, they did not take it. And most of them, they finish at the top of their classes. Now I'm saying that, what I'm trying to say is this: even my own child was classified as that, but that child now is on a full academic scholarship at Vanilla University.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm saying that when your child is classified as needing Ritalin, please, he does not need it. Do everything to stop it.
Okay, thank you, my brother. Now let me say, this this sister in orange is going to be the last person at that microphone, and this sister here is going to be the last person at this microphone. Oh, okay. Sister Fatima, you're the last one over there, okay? And then we're going to go to Sister Rose, okay? So, sister here.
Hi, my name is Gwen Patton, and I've been in this struggle a very, very long time. Consciously, since I was 9 years old, and I'm 63 now. There are two things I would like for us to do. I think there is a need for us to have a serious conversation between Northern women and Southern women. Yes. That's very, very important. I'm from Montgomery, Alabama. I've been in this struggle a long time. My sister Rose is up there, and her daughter Malika. Just briefly, our whole struggle around the school system was framed school desegregation. It was never school integration. That's correct. And that's a real serious discussion that we have to have. Another thing was our struggle for public accommodations was not so much, and I've had the privilege to teach at Brooklyn College and all over. I've lived north and south, east and west. And it wasn't so much about getting accommodations in my day and time at the Howard Johnson. So when our northern cousins came down to visit us in the south, they would have some place to stay so they wouldn't have to stay in the car. Our struggle was about how do we franchise and make larger A.G. Gaston's Motel.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
And see, that has not been discussed as to how we ourselves have redefined what our actual struggle is. And it's very painful for a lot of us in the South because we allowed that kind of twist and turn and get us off track from what we were really struggling about in the Deep South. Secondly, we got to also raise up in ourselves. I understand you did do libations for Fannie Lou Hamer. But there's a Fannie Lou Hamer in all of us. We're a composite. We're not only the educators, Mary McLeod Bethune, who's a powerful woman, but we also have some Fannie Lou in us. You know, we also have, and I can name a whole bunch of names, and we need to forge and develop mentally that level. I know I'm a warrior, and I don't want to have to be ashamed, and I know I look good. To talk about that warrior element that's within us. Rose Sanders is a warrior. Okay, I know that for a fact. And then lastly, we're going to have to struggle with each other around inclusion, because I should be up there. There's no question in my mind.
But there are a lot of women that you
Yeah, but I'm still staying. Okay? I'm not trying to lift myself up, but I'm saying I wasn't born crippled. And that's deep. There are many of us who are physically victims of this movement. There are many of us, like, and I don't want to go into it, and Rose might get into it too, that we have overlooked. And we have to do our research. Not only just, loving ourselves is important, and I love myself. But we got to love Claudette Colvin. And we got to touch bases with people where we have this information, where we can share it with the rest of you. And I'm gonna really hush up. I love Mrs. Rosa Parks. Okay, my mouth is getting dry. I love Mrs. Rosa Parks. But Claudette Colvin was a 15-year-old girl in March before December who refused to give up her seat. A teenager that could be a model for all of our youngsters, who had a baby out of wedlock, not that year, but the next year. But she was beaten, put into a mental institute. She lives in the Bronx, New York. I've tried to get my friends in New York to call her and hold her, and so has Rose. I hush my mouth, but what I'm saying is, we have got to be inclusive. We have got to tell the stories, particularly of our warrior women, and we've got to summon that warrior strength and power within us and understand that that makes us just as queen-like as any other thing.
Thank you. Now, we're hoping that when we are able to go online, that we can keep this group together and some of these stories can go right online, okay?
Greetings, my name is Tama Bryant Davis. I'm a 30-year-old psychologist. I'm also a poet and playwright. I'm the daughter of Reverend Cecilia Williams Bryant. I advocate for mental health rights at the United Nations and also coordinate the Sexual Assault Office at Princeton University. I just want to share this 1-minute tribute to our sisters. I shared it at Poetry Night, but that was at midnight, so you all had gone to sleep except about 10 of us. So, who will sing an upbeat black girl song? Songs of now-a-laters and bus passes. Songs of name brand jeans and name brand shoes and name brands branded in search of a place where everybody knows her name. Who will sing an upbeat black girl song? Songs of the intercourse of hip-hop beats and gospel hymns, caught in the act, caught in her throat. Songs of blues notes and Bible verses running marathons in her head from late night Friday all the way to Sunday school. Who will sing an upbeat black girl song? Songs of cornrows and picking rows of cotton and being picked on and being picked over and using a pick until she picked up a Revlon. But who will sing an upbeat black girl song? Songs with the chorus saying, I'm not from Africa, I'm from North Carolina. I mean, where is Africa? I mean, I am Africa. Africa embodied, Africa personified, Africa transformed. I mean, not just the Africa on TV with flies around bulging eyes and bulging bellies, but the Africa of the Ashanti, the Zulu, the Bassa, the Mandingo, the Africa of Dumbo and Fufu and jollof rice. Africa of tutu men and market women. Africa where black is beautiful is not just a slogan but a fact of life. But upbeat black girl song, cause the downbeat says she's so black and lazy and slack. And the downbeat says she's a video hoe and of course academically slow. And the downbeat says she's so visible in welfare lines but so invisible in the minds of shareholders, stakers, and policy makers. But who will sing an upbeat black girl song? We will sing it for ourselves. We will put our souls and our throats and our hearts and our lungs and sing of our survival. And the world will marvel at how long we hold our notes. Who will sing an upbeat black girl song? Girl, you better sing it for yourself. Wait up, shake, shake, wee. Hold it like Harriet held it. Hold it like Sojourner held it. Hold it like Fannie Lou Hamer held it. Hold it like Susan Taylor holds it. And if you don't know none of them, hold it like your great-great-grandma held it. And the world will marvel at how long you hold your notes.
Oh, she has a CD. You have a CD? We want the CD, girl. Okay, we're gonna let Sister Fatima be the last person from our audience, and then we're gonna have Sister Rose do the closing presentation to you. Sister Fatima.
Okay, my name is Fatima Sapana Henry, and I just want to say that.
Fatima, can you put the microphone up to your mouth and get a little closer?
I am the mother of 4 daughters who are my absolute best friends in the world, and I wonder how many of us can really say that. I speak because for many, many years, I've been teaching teenage daughters who think that their mothers are their worst enemies. And so I make a plea on behalf of them to the mothers to befriend your daughters. I know that my mother would say, I'm not your friend, I'm your mother. But she was my best friend. You know, I know that now as an adult. And and then after she passed, I was able to get Dr. Wheeler, who is now my mother, and my best friend. I just want to say that that I think that part of the problem is that we as women also need a rites of passage.
Yes, that's right.
And so I wanted to ask the sister if you have a curriculum for adult women's rites of passage.
This has been awesome, awesome, awesome. Give it up. This has been awesome. I want to go. We don't have much time for the solution phase, but I think the solutions have emerged from the whole conversation. We want to tie all that in together, but I want to honor two things real quick. We didn't get to deal with male-female relationships, but there's some very powerful couples here. Yes. Very powerful. I want you to stand. These people who've been married, Breeze and Gladys, I see you, Ron and Mel. Can we just honor strong black marriages? They're here in this room. My husband, the O'Neill family, your parents, mother, Susan Taylor. We want our young people to know that strong black marriages are possible. They are here. And I was supposed to do a piece on this, but we ran out of time. And of course, I'm going to just take the liberty to say, my husband, the man I have loved for 34 years plus, Hank Sanders. I just want to honor him. And I think that one thing, he's here, and he's the writer of this terrific book, Death of a Fat Man, that talks about me. I don't like everything he says, and he says it's fiction, but some of the bedroom talk may or may not be true. You have to read the book to find out. And the last thing I want to say before I go into the solution, I want to say something about Sister Gwen. One reason we know we're so miseducated, and I'm the first to say I'm guilty, because every woman in this room from America should know Gwen Patton. If you knew your history, there's no way in the world you wouldn't know Gwen Patton. When I first got out of law school, believe it or not, Rumsfeld, that little terrorist that runs around represents our country, he actually assaulted me because we were involved in a protest in Washington. And these brothers came in to defend us, and guess who sent them? Gwen Patton. Gwen Patton. I can't go into moment, but we got to know the service. Now, what can we do then? From this room, with all this energy, all of us are involved with work. I heard one sister say she works 7 days a week. And I do too. Me and my husband, we work 7 days a week, 18 hours a day. If you don't believe it, ask my daughter. And my mother had not been in the home with me, we would not have raised healthy children. They would have been African-centered, unhealthy children. But my mother was there to give balance, to make sure she got what we... So my point is, how do we find time to reach out to Haitian women, African women, when we have women in our neighborhoods? Right down the street, in my little nice house, within a mile, there's a place called Slave City, where women don't have running water, where women don't have electricity for their families. So how do we bring all this together in a way that lifts us all up without taking every bit of our time? And what we want to suggest, and I'm taking the ideas of a collective of women I've been talking with all day. We want to come up, and I can't draw at all. God gave me some talents, but I swear drawing was not one. But if you can see, it's a series of circles making a circle. And we call them sister circles. Can y'all see? A series of circles making a circle. Now, when you open this big circle up, you have what? One big circle. Now, the purpose of the circle is to do two things, to inspire and inform. And it's not one-sided. None of us know everything. I don't even know how to, I just learned how to turn on a computer. So, everybody, it's not like no big U's and little U's in this circle. I love this. So she's always pushing this idea that we have a disconnect with our women who are addicts, with our women who are prostitutes, with our women who are unemployed, and etc. One of my best friends was very promiscuous, extremely so. So much so I couldn't deal with it. Every man that wanted her, she could have. He could have. But at her, guess what we found at her transition? She had been raped by her father for 6 years. She was a brilliant woman who loved black people. And the reason why I can tell you about it, because she wrote about it before she died, before she transitioned. So you don't know the pain that women are going through that cause them to be in the street. That's why I judge no woman. I judge no woman. So in this circle, we want to keep the circle small. You've heard that I'm talking fast, y'all, because I know we're out of time. If I'm talking too fast, just hold up your hand. I'll slow it down. There's an old African proverb that says, mighty rivers are filled drop by drop. That a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. We believe that if we start these circles of women, we have about over 250 women on the ship. If you would start a circle, and through your leadership development within your circle, the young people on that circle will start a circle, and the circles will keep growing and growing and growing. And every circle we are recommending will have at least one youth, could have more, keep them small, one elder, one low-income working woman. And you know, it's hard for us professional women sometimes to relate. And it's hard for them to relate to us, and we cannot romanticize that relationship. One computer literate woman. It's very important that one woman in the circle be literate, because when she keeps talking about this, we talked about the clearinghouse, where all this information will go in the clearinghouse. And from this clearinghouse, we can take the information, share the information, and bring it back to the women where? In our little circles. You don't have to go anywhere to create your circles. Create them in your space, in your church, in your club. If you're a member of Jack and Jill, I ain't mad at you. But y'all know, my sister's a bit Jack and Jill, but y'all know that low-income children are rarely brought into that circle. So I'm not telling you to give up Jack and Jill, but you reach out for a child that's not in Jack and Jill. You reach out for a mother that can't afford the dues of Jack and Jill. And you create these programs. And one thing we want to do, going back to Sister Brian's idea, once a year, at the same time, all over the diaspora, as we reach out for the, did I tell you we want a Haitian woman on that circle? Okay. And we'll ask for people of our Haitian women to give us a woman from Haiti that will be included in our circle. Now, they ain't gonna have no computers, but that's what they got stamps for. And as exploited and capitalistic as the country is, the stamps are still under $1. So we will send our sisters in Haiti or Africa a step envelope so they can communicate back with us. So now you have these small circles, and once a year, I don't think you can get any better than this ceremony that you've given us, that we would pour the water and remind ourselves that God is watching us and that God is lifting us. And he has given us the hands to lift each other. Yes. And we must lift each other no matter where we are, whether we're rich or poor, young or old. And we will go through this ceremony of pouring the water once a year. And I suggest that we appoint a committee to work out the details. Someone suggested that we do it the year that Haiti received its independence, because it is the only movement, I'm told, in the world where African people actually, is this the first? It's the first. So that might be a day, but there might be other days. The only
successful slave revolt.
And I think that is, that, you know, and God was definitely wiping tears. There was plenty of joy in the morning when that happened. To reclaim that moment in history every year with women throughout the diaspora. And the last thing is I go, and then we get some input. And if I talk too fast, y'all just ask me to repeat. That this would be a day of prayer and fasting. But not just prayer and fasting and bringing more people into our circle. And my sisters from New York suggested that they just didn't want to do it within their circle. That they wanted to come together with all the women in New York. And so when we might say, well, all the circles in Alabama. But those are things that could be decided on an individual basis. The last thing is to come up with a set of principles that would guide our circles. Now, we're not talking about an organization. A set of principles. And some of the principles would be very concrete things like that we will not be petty and jealous. And even though we know these thoughts will enter our hearts and spirit, we will pray them out and talk them out. That we will look down on no woman, no matter who she is, no matter what she does. I don't care how much of her belly is showing, my brother. We will not look down on that sister. So we will come up with a manageable number of principles to work with. Now, and then for accountability's sake, this is very important, because I set up a network during the Brown decision on May 17th, the clearinghouse and all of that. But what I found out the brothers and sisters do, they get back to their communities, get overwhelmed with a lot of problems, and then we become disconnected. to become accountable, we're going to ask Ron, could we have, as a part of his website, a special, what do you call it? A special link for the sister circles. We don't want to go outside of the work that Ron has brought us to.
That's it.
So we would have a link, and every woman in these circles, the computer person would be responsible for listing the women in your circle on that computer.
Okay.
So now every woman is connected to every woman.
Yes.
That's it real quickly. I think more details need to be worked out, but I would like to get some input, some feedback on how y'all feel about that. Can we briefly get some?
Okay, we're going to take about 5 minutes. Please come step to the microphones and see if we have any comments. Let me just say while we're getting people up to the microphones that there are books and probably other articles that are right across the hall after this if you want to see some of the literature that's been brought here. And certainly after Sister Rose organizes this on the computer, we'll have, you know, reading lists and all kinds of things that we'll put on the internet so that people can stay in touch and get educated and keep moving ahead. Okay, again, I'm going to ask everybody to please keep their remarks very brief. We can use this microphone over here also. I'll put this mic if I can. Oh,
while people are coming, I think even the linkage can be in different categories. For example, those invisible giants. I'd already talking to Susan. She'd already agreed to come to Selma, to cover all those invisible giant women like Claudette Colvin right in New York, who are still living. So it could be categorized. Women in Haiti, the freedom fighters, you know, health. It could just be categorized. The literature, how to set up the rites of passage. It can be categorized. So when you go to
idea, I'm from Oakland, California, and I have the blessing of working in several women organizations. Some of them that I've helped to put together. Some of them are working with women that work the streets, and women that are codependent to whatever drug that may be, and women that are in businesses, own their own businesses. Now these are two separate groups, but what we do is we allow them to be able to speak to each other because one encourages the other. They also go back and then they start to teach and educate their children so that the children don't make mistakes of the mothers, and that the grandmothers are also involved. And so it is a complete circle. And I think this is a wonderful idea. Sometimes we ostracize the women that we don't understand, and that keeps us more separate than we need to be, because we all need each other. And I think it was an excellent point that you brought out about the friend that you had that was promiscuous, and then when you got to know her circumstances, you understood it. And it's the same with the women that I see on the streets. If you knew their circumstances, then you'd understand it, and we'd be able to, as you sung in that song this morning, be able to lift them up, because they're not heavy. And so I think this is a wonderful idea.
I want to add that we have to, a part of it is to communicate with the women in that circle at least once a month. Okay. Let's not create the circles and saying, I'll see you next year.
My name is Etta Dixon, and I just wanted to say that we already have a sister to sister in Brooklyn, New York, under the Queen Afua, who is the founder of Heal Thyself. It's at 106 Kingston Avenue, between Bergen and Dean Street in Brooklyn. Anyone wants to come? Every second Friday of the month, we have sister to sister, and we have had sisters that came to our sister to sister. It's been going on since 1987, almost 20 years. And we've had sisters that came one time and she said she wanted to commit suicide. And some of the other sisters were in the program and they had already been there. When they got through with her, she was well. She didn't want to do it because they did 3 years of talking in 2 hours that we have our class. So we reached them, and it's really good. So if you want to come, please come. 106 Kingston Avenue, between Bergen and Dean, in Brooklyn, second Friday of every month at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. before you leave. Thank you.
My name is Roxanne Clinton. I'm really happy to be here. And I'm completely honored.
Speak into the microphone, sister. We can't hear you.
My name is Roxanne Clinton, and I just want to let you know that I live in the central New Jersey area. And I'd be willing to be the computer person for the Sister Circle in the central New Jersey area. So please stop me, and if you see me in the hallway, let me know how we can do this and make it happen.
What I'm going to do is ask you and everybody else who wants to help develop this to give your names and addresses to Sister Rose, okay?
We're passing around a list.
Yeah, we're passing around a list. Make sure everybody signs
your
it.
name, address, zip, email, and then if you have any resources, if you'll put it on that you,
Right.
you have some special talent, we could then tap into that.
She's
going around.
You said, yeah, well, they may have signed already. So if not, give it to Sister Rose, okay? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I think this is a tremendous idea. I just would like to know that there will be someone who will be the coordinator of all of it even before we leave here, because we need one person to be the coordinator and the leader before we leave, or else it's just going to be a wonderful
I really
idea.
don't think it should be one person. I think if we're talking about social, I think it's time that we get back to team leadership. I think it should be a team effort. I don't think this should, all of us are stretched out. I am so stretched out. I'm willing to do whatever I can. I prefer, just because of ideas. This is a collection of ideas from different people. So let it be collective leadership. But I would like to know this. How many women in this room right now, don't do it because it's popular, because it feels good right now. When Jesse Jackson was like raising money, everybody said, oh yeah, and you never get the check. How many people here, sisters, I know you're busy, but are willing to go back? I'm including young sisters, because you're bringing the elder. See, it's not just me bringing in a young person and a Haitian woman. How many of us here are willing to try to do this, to make a genuine effort? Thank God.
And I think what Rose is saying is that we don't want to do something that's going to take a long time to organize. We want you to be able to do something that you can do that's doable. Because oftentimes we wait for the structure to build, but you can begin to build the structure, and maybe at some point it may grow to something like
by
that.
itself, I understand.
But start where you are.
We want to have people who are in organizations also plug that organization in. We're not trying to do something that's going to be costly or takes a lot of time. We just want to start communicating with each other and we online, we can talk to each other and say
Are we
what we
going to
have
be
to
able
do.
to get the CD or the DVD?
We can.
Of the sister
Sister Tommy, can we get your CD?
Yes, the CD is on Amazon.com and it's called Sky. One more time. If you go on Amazon.com, the name of the CD is Sky, and the name of the book is Mangoes and Manna, Poetry for the Body and Soul, and they'll deliver it to you in the same week.
Okay, I just wanted to say this before we conclude. We understand that many women made a lot of investments, and unfortunately we were not able to go to the Citadel or Milo, and they lost a lot of money. I have these CDs that I developed to teach people how to speak French, but they're songs, just a lot of fun, wonderful songs. And for a donation of $10, I'll just give you the CD, and all the proceeds will go to these women.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to have Sister Shani who's going to say something. Sister Barbara wants to make an announcement. Then we want to just kind of close up, and Reverend Cecilia is going to do a closing prayer.
Are we doing our song?
Oh, we're going to do our song. Okay, Sister Barbara first. Make your announcement.
I just want to announce to the Kane Group, we have to have a last-minute housekeeping meeting in the boardroom. It was supposed to start at 3. We're still in here. As soon as this is over, meet me there. We got to get out of here by tomorrow. Okay. And I would just wonder if we can't get the addresses from Ron. In other words, can't we hook that up or bring it up in the state of Black World?
Yeah, we're going to go master.
Okay.
I would just like to offer a little bit of testimony about the Sister Circle idea. I'm a member of a Sister Circle inside DC that's been meeting for about a year, comprised of social justice activists. Our youngest, we always have at least 2 sisters in there from college, so from Howard all the way up to women in their late 50s and 60s, and every age range in between. We meet about once every 2 months due to everybody's schedule, rotate from house to house. We have potlucks. We went together to the March for Women's Lives. We organize around themes. Like one time we met about transition. All of us were going through great transitions in our lives, and we talked about it honestly and frankly, and we helped each other through it. We meet around 6 o'clock every time that we meet. We don't go home until about 2 or 3 in the morning when somebody points out, oh my God, it's been 8 hours that came and gone. And I think what we're going to find as we engage in this exercise is that this will become a source of sustenance. You won't even have to make yourself meet again. People will be calling each other saying, when can we meet again? I just got an email this week. Our next meeting is on August 25th. So I'd just like to offer that as a bit of testimony. If anybody would have any questions about, how do these sister circles implement, I would offer myself as a resource if you would like to ask me about the one that we have that's been one of the best sources of support I could ask for in my life.
Sister Shani is she's on the committee now.
Can I just ask how many of you belong to sister circles? Okay. What she just said is so true, and it's such a powerful, powerful healing tool. I belong to a sister circle called the ISIS Sisters, and Sister Adelaide quite clearly is our leader. And because we're all really busy and we have women who are in really high places in politics, a lot of women in education, a lot of women who are attorneys, it's all kinds of sisters. We meet early in the morning, 7:30 to 9. Once every other month. We're on time, we end on time. So what you do is you put your circle together and configure it in a way that really supports you. But it's a safe place. It's a place where you can cry, a place where you can tell the truth. You keep them small. It's a place of healing, and it's something that we must do for ourselves because we know we're all overwhelmed. We're tired, we're overwhelmed, and we're saying that we can't do another thing. But we know that we must do more. And this is one of the ways that we can feed ourselves and take care of ourselves. And so the next thing we're going to sing.
Yes, before we sing, I want to talk about one danger in a sister circle, because I don't think we can romanticize it. One danger, and we talked about this, most sister circles are women of like interest. And it's not that you would be in classes, but if you're a writer, you're with women who are writers and artists. Since we're talking about making sure there's a Haitian, y'all, this sister reminded me, we got to get with our Haitian sister. We want to make sure there's a Haitian sister that we're communicating with in this circle. And an African woman. This might not be, I don't want you to say, I can't start the circle until we identify the sister. You start your circle now. But in dealing with, and I don't want to generalize, some low-income women are women who don't have jobs. The reason why the principles are so important is because some women without jobs are so damaged, they will hustle you. And I think we have to have principles that all women are exposed to at the beginning of the circles, because I've been a crime victim. And because you have this sense of guilt, I have this and they don't. So you have to make it clear, no, I'm not going to be paying your light bill and your water bill every month. Those are just realities that we have to face. And what I'm recommending, since the group has by acclamation, not consensus, agreed with this, we need a committee to work out the details and the principles to get them out to women. And if you have any suggestions, you need to let us know them. And if you have some ideas, can I say this, Sister Barbara? Anybody that wants to work on this with us, especially for their region, that they would stay a minute afterwards so we can know their names.
I was going to suggest that. Okay. So we're on the same page.
But I ain't no doctor.
Why don't we have the meditation first, and then the song, and that'll be our conclusion?
Okay. I did want to say a few words, but when should I do it? Say it right now? That's right. Okay. So I want to say, we have come together in a historic time for a historic purpose. Yeah. We are right now sailing over the bones of our ancestors. Yes. They are proud of us. They have given us strength. They have given us purpose. They have given us spirit. They have given us life. We are the children of those who survived. And we have come together to be stronger, to help each other, and to accomplish what we can in our time. This is our time. These are our tasks. This is a long-range battle, a long-range war. But this, right now, is our battle, our challenge, our time. We must leave this ship stronger than we entered it. We must do more than we were doing when we came. We must remember who we are and take it and allow it to lead us forward. I love you, my brothers and sisters. Remember that we are each other's strength. And with that note, I think we will have a closing prayer from the Reverend Mother.
Praise the Lord. Won't you stand?
I want to lift my sister up. She is not heavy.
I want to lift my sister up.
I want to lift my sister up. She is not heavy.
I don't lift her up.
If I don't lift her up. If I don't lift her up. If I don't lift her up, I will fall down. I want to lift my brother up. I want to lift my brother up. He is not heavy. He's not heavy. I want to lift my brother up. He is not heavy. No, he's not heavy, y'all. I want to lift my brother up. He is not heavy. If I don't lift him up, if I don't lift him up, if I don't lift him up, I will fall down. I want to lift Haiti up. I want to lift. She is not heavy. She is not heavy. I want to lift Haiti up. She is not heavy. I want to lift Haiti up. She is not heavy. If I don't lift her up. If I don't lift her up. If I don't lift her up. If I don't lift her up, I will fall down. I want to lift Africa up. She is not heavy. No, no, no. I want to lift Africa up. She is not heavy. No, she's not heavy. I want to lift Africa up. She is not heavy. If I don't lift her up, if I don't lift her up, if I don't lift her up, I will fall down. I want to lift my people up.
The last verse, everybody.
I want to lift my people up. They are not heavy. No, no. I want to lift my people up. They are not heavy. They are not heavy. I want to lift my people up. They are not.
Okay, Mason, yeah, I'm home. Are you smoking? Yeah. What do they say?
Mommy's at work. Mommy's on vacation. Yeah, he's in such a great age. You ready? Okay. I guess Susan Taylor, Essence Magazine. Susan, you've seen a lot here, a lot discussed. What are your impressions and what you hope to take back through the message that you hope to send out?
I'm so blessed to be here. Well, thank you so much. Primarily, I feel so blessed because Essence has been covering Haiti for the past 30 years, even though we haven't moved it in the political, situation consistently. We have interviewed Aristide, and also we continue to cover Haitian women. Let me start again.
We got that part, so you can move on.
Oh, okay. I think it was so childish. So let me just I feel so blessed that I'm here. I think it's so powerful that Essence, important that Essence be represented, because we've been looking at Haiti over the last 30 years. We've interviewed President Aristide and plan to do it again, and also to go into Haiti, to send journalists into Haiti, to really look at what's going on and to talk to the people.
People are hurting in more ways than one. It's a complex issue. What are the bridges between African Americans and Haitians that you see commonality?
You know, as I travel the world, I see that people of African ancestry, no matter where we are, we're suffering in similar ways. We need housing, we need medical care, we need education, we need job opportunities, we need economic investment. So what I think is important is that I use the power that I have that communicates with 8 million people to really focus on our sisters and brothers, not only in the United States, but throughout the diaspora. So what we're going to do is really focus on Haitian women and how we can impact on their lives. And that's what I'm looking at. I think that medical care and education, those are two important issues that I'm going to try to galvanize my editors around and see how we can have a positive impact.
So you get the word out.
One second. Okay, yes, speak.
What role do you think African Americans need to play, must play, should play in helping their Haitian brothers and sisters?
I so want to see an activist spirit be reborn in African Americans because it's not there. You know, we wouldn't have gotten this far without an enormous group of black folks over a long period of time having a point of view, sacrificing and struggling to get us to this place, where many of us are educated, many of us live middle-class lives, and we're really forgetting about the masses of people who are struggling along the margins. So what I'm going to do, along with a whole host of other people, is really commit to standing strongly together. Because linking arms and aims, we're going to be able to make an impact with 2 issues, education and healthcare. Those are the 2 things that I really want to do.
What's going to spur that person who sees that their own individual priorities come before everyone else's? How do you, like, kick them into action? Kick them into action, I'm sorry. I was going to say something else. Go ahead.
You know, that's the large question. How do we inspire people to get involved? And I ask myself this all the time. How much more greatly do we have to suffer? You know, I ask myself that all the time. What's going to move us toward activism? How much more do we have to suffer? How many more of our children do we have to lose? How many more children have to fail in school, be murdered in the streets for African Americans to use our power and all of our resources to stand strong? So all we can do is tell stories as journalists and hope that people will get involved.
And the story that you think is going to make the connection, why should African Americans focus on Haiti? What's the story?
You'll say it in a moment. You don't mind the screen?
No.
Oh, okay.
Hold on one second.
She'll tell you.
That's me.
You know what I heard? You won your freedom, but you're still not free. You're now imprisoning one another. So we have got to fix Haiti.
And depart so that you can eat, get your things together, because we'll be arriving back in Miami early in the morning. We're going to begin with some announcements from Mary Frances Daniels, a woman who needs a lot of applause, who deserves a lot of applause, who's worked so hard, quietly behind the scenes, in partnership with Ron to make this a success. Mary Frances Daniels. Give her a big hand. Give her a hand.
Okay, I'm only going to have this mic for about 3 minutes, and I'm going to go real quickly because we do have a lot to do. The first thing I want to say is thank you. And I feel myself getting emotional. I just want to say thank you. For you guys, for your support, for your love, for people who come to me and put their arms around me and say, we're with you, we understand what you're doing. Everything wasn't perfect, but we know that you guys, where your hearts are, and I want to say thank you. I also want to apologize if I seem rude to anybody, because it wasn't my intent. It's just that when you're rushing and, you know, there's people, you guys really just can't begin to imagine. But I may have snapped, I don't know. If I did, I apologize. I just want you to know that. So now after I've done and said that, and said my thank yous, and I love you, and I'm going to be looking to see all of you again, I'm going to make these announcements because they're very important. Now, many people have asked about gratuities. In your cabins, you will see some tags and sheets that have captain and waiter.
that is your prepaid gratuity. When other people would be putting envelopes, those putting money in an envelope, you will put those tickets, the tag that says waiter, you put it in the waiter envelope because you've already paid the waiter. The one that says, whatever it says, cabin steward, you'll put that in the envelope that says cabin steward because you've already paid the cabin steward when you paid into this cruise. So you don't have to give anybody any money. Now if you want to give more, that's fine, but you don't have to because you've already paid for it when you book this cruise. So you just put those little slips in the appropriate envelope. The next thing is you have tags in your room that go on your luggage. If you're leaving early, you need to make sure, early meaning 1 o'clock or between 9 and 1 or 10 and 1. If you're leaving before noon or 1 o'clock, at least you need to make sure that you have tags that say that you're an early departer because it's a color code. They look at the people who leave first and they give them a certain color. The people who leave next, they give them a certain color. I think the color is white. I didn't have time to run around and find out. But if you have an early flight and the tag is white, you need a white ticket for your luggage. Because I had Miss Catherine Dunham, there 3 of them, 2 had white and 2 had red. That would have been a problem because the reds would not have been getting off with her because they had the wrong color tag. So I may not be able to help you because I'm doing things, but you need to know to check that if you have an early departure that you have the right color tag for your luggage. The next thing is that if the gratuities early, if you have transfers, some of you don't know about your transport back to the airport. Now, a lot of folks, I try to cover everybody. Some people got their forms to me, some people didn't. If you don't know and you're not sure how you're going to get back to the airport, you need to see me in the conference room B or C, somewhere downstairs in the conference room, so I can look at my list and make sure that you have transport back. And if not, we'll have to work it out because some people I already know didn't have their names, their forms didn't come to me in time. Anybody who was with me in the Fort Lauderdale hotel, please don't come to me because you already taken care of. So don't come running down there. If you were with me at Fort Lauderdale, you covered. Don't come to me. Okay, I have some lost eyeglasses. You need to see me if you lost your eyeglasses. I have about 3 pairs of eyeglasses and a bracelet. So if you lost it, you need to come to see me because I have it. And 2 more things. One is that we have a form that will be given out for people to respond to some of what you're going to hear here because we want people to join us and help us to carry on what we're trying to do. So we're going to ask you when you finish here that you go down to the conference room also, conference room B, where the same place where we have our books set up, we'll also have a book to give you that is be yours, and this form, these forms that you need to fill out, so we'll know how to reach you later when you get ready to help us do all this work. So when you leave here, we want you to go down to conference room where we had the women's issue today. Just go back down there and we'll have the forms to give you. The last thing is that we have a young lady here who's trying to be a Miss Idol. You know the kids, they watch American Idol. Well, that lady right there, she's going to be a part of the karaoke idol thing tonight and show them that she's going to win for HSP. So she wants folks to come and see her tonight at 11 o'clock right here when she's going to win Miss Karaoke Idol. So that's it for now. I'm going to give the mic back to our brother Mark Muriel. And just maybe I'll come back and reinforce the announcements. Maybe I won't, but just look for me regarding the announcements. I'll come to you if you have a question. Okay. Oh, the bags, I did forget. You have to pack up your luggage. See, that's because I didn't write it down. You have to pack up your luggage and put it outside like noon before you go to bed.
Introduce our leader, Brother Ron Daniels, who's worked tirelessly for many, many years with the Haiti Support Project. His long, long career as a great organizer and a man who loves our people is without question. This project has been a great success. It has not been without challenges, but let's greet him, ladies and gentlemen. Ron Daniels, our leader, the leader of the Haiti Support Project. Ron Daniels.
I want to begin by thanking my wife and partner, because this would not have been possible without her, and also Miota Roy and some others. In fact, is Miota in the room? Miota? Is Miota here? Okay, Miota, would you please come down and before Mary France Daniels disappear, would you please come down quickly? Would y'all please come, because she didn't disappear. Wayne, grab her. Don't let her go. She's gone already. Well, I'll hold it. I have something for you folks. But I also want to thank our sisters from the Oklahoma Healthcare Project, a sister named Michelle Smith, who was not here. They really, really worked hard to make this possible. Well, it's been a very powerful and emotional week. It's been a very powerful and emotional experience. We conceptualized this vision and dream more than 2.5 years ago, actually even before then. It has been the most difficult project I've ever worked on in my life. Very, very difficult, because it was huge in terms of its magnitude. And we didn't have much but guts and faith. Guts and Faith initiative. The next time we'll listen to Londell McMillan in terms of business. We talked about that this morning. But I don't regret that, because I think that where there is no vision, the people perish. That you must stretch out. You must dream dreams. You must keep hope in front of you. In quest of this notion that Haitian Americans and African Americans need join hands to help finish the Haitian Revolution. This extraordinary event that has gone all too often unnoticed, even by black people in America. And so it was a correct idea. It was a correct mission. And we worked tirelessly. And when things exploded in Haiti, almost all of our corporate sponsorship possibilities, because we never envisioned, that your tickets would pay for this. It was supposed to be through corporate sponsorships. All of that vanished. And so we became the staff. We had to do this work. And it was a question really as to whether we should even move forward. At least some people thought perhaps we wouldn't move forward. But we decided that we must move forward. And frankly, as some people have said, that we got nearly 500 people, true believers and the faithful, to move forward is almost a miracle. And you really need to give yourselves a strong round of applause. I've watched and brought down to tears many times as I've seen the impact of this cruising into history on people on the ship. I've seen people, African Americans and Haitian Americans, embrace each other on this ship. I've seen African Americans and Haitian Americans reconnect with the heart and soul of our history. I've seen people connect with each other, realizing that there's an extraordinary group of people up in here. People with all kinds of skills and talents. I've heard people comment on all of that. And the sessions have just been so dynamic and so inspirational and informational and powerful. That's all been very, very positive. But there's also been some negatives. Because as we proceeded on this extraordinary pilgrimage, we had to make some very, very difficult choices. And yesterday you heard the anguish and the pain of our Haitian brothers and sisters as they expressed their frustration, anger, but mostly pain because of the change of course that we had to undertake, or that we did undertake. And I want to say to you again that I saw as my first obligation, as we decided to move forward, ensuring that all of our passengers would be safe, number one, and that we would try to ensure that much of what we said we would do, even under adverse circumstances, would be brought to fruition. And that we would be able to go to the Citadel, that we'd be able to go to the Sanssouci Palace. It was not possible to do that without interfacing with this existing government. We had commitments from the Aristide administration to repair the road and to provide transportation and to do various kinds of things that would help us get this job done. It did not happen. I'm not saying that even critically, it just did not happen. There was no way for us to proceed if we were going to keep our original agenda unless we contacted, interfaced with the officials of this interim de facto government to ask them to honor the commitments that had been made by the previous administration and to help with security. And in fact, given the situation in the country, it was also important that we go to the U.S. ambassador, the U.S. embassy to which we pay taxes, and ask them to provide the maximum security possible for all 400, 500 of us who were coming. I saw that as my duty. I saw that as my responsibility. In the course of, and in doing that work, however, we came back to Haiti at least 4 times since April to meet with people on the ground. The committee members that you saw yesterday, we're not strangers. We've met with each other at least 4 times to talk about what they were going to do. And we came back and we saw the progress they were making. And we talked with people from Cape Haitian, we talked to people from Milo, and people came and they were very excited and they were building towards this really, really fantastic day. And people were investing. Yesterday we saw 30 people. Had we been able to go through with our original plan, we would have seen 5,000 to 7,000 people. From my own selfish point of view, I saw this as one of the highlights of the work that I had done. To see this in my mind's eye as we would go and we would see this tremendous turnout of people coming to connect with us. But within the last 10 days, we ran into a firestorm of criticism that because I had made contact, the Haiti Support Project had made contact with this interim administration and had been in discussions with the American ambassador, that the way in which President Aristide was ousted, and none of us in this room, I think, agree with what happened in terms of the actions of the U.S. government in that regard. Whether you agree or disagree with President Aristide is beside the point. The dislodging of a democratically elected president is something the United States has done over and over and over again, meddling in the affairs of people. We did not approve of that. And so, the role of the U.S. government and installing a different government, a lot of people didn't like that. And so the critique that was being made of us very intensely is that somehow what we were about to do, and let me just say there were a couple of other points too, because there were some safety concerns that I shared with you. The whole question of a possible strike by the National Police, which did not materialize because they got paid. Secondly, the whole question of the rebels in this area amassing and that perhaps being a problem. Those things kind of disappeared. But the key problem became that there were significant forces inside the United States, pro-democracy forces, who said, and leading members of the Congressional Black Caucus and others, who really felt that this cruise, if it went through with its original plans, because we had been interfacing with government officials, would be used to legitimize this administration, and therefore undermine the legitimate process of democracy that the Haitian people have fought for so long. And that happened in the last 10 days. And we had hours and hours of discussion about how we could proceed. And we eventually agreed, because we wanted to try to keep everybody together, we eventually agreed that what we would do in order to avoid that impression, to avoid any possible notion that somehow we were legitimizing this particular government, which was not our intention. It was not our intention. We always said that this was not a political project. It was not, when people were saying the same thing when it was President Aristide. People were saying, don't go, because it'll be for Aristide. We said, no, it's not about that. But in this instance, people felt very strongly that that was a possibility. And so we decided and asked you to join us in confining our activities to Labor Day. That decision, however, was not without its consequences. Because what that meant was the energy and the effort that had been put into this work by the friends with whom we had met on the ground, even though if you agree with, in theory and principle, that this whole notion of interfacing with the government is wrong and whatever, as a practical matter, it had consequences for our brothers and sisters who really may or may not be involved in the politics. They just want to make a better life for themselves. They just want to get, a sense of a future. And we had talked to them about that, and we wanted to partner with them in that process. And I wanted you to hear them yesterday. I wanted you to hear them. I didn't want to duck. I wanted you to hear that pain. Because it was also a kind of pain that we experienced as we tried to go through a very, very, very excruciating and difficult decision. And it's a decision that was made. Perhaps it was the right decision, maybe it was the wrong decision. It was a decision that we felt under the moment was the correct thing to do. Now, however, the question becomes the repair. More important than anything else is the repair. Because we don't intend to leave doing work at Haiti Support Project. We've been here for over 9 years now. We intend to be engaged. We've got the face that people earn their trust again and continue to build with an agenda that we hope will be very, very rewarding and effective in the future. The challenge is to turn the pain, to turn the devastating moment into an opportunity, to help you join with us, in taking that which was intended to be positive and unintentionally caused harm and pain, because we were not intending to hurt anyone. Never, ever would we try to hurt anyone. But that's what happened. You felt it, I felt it. And now we have to find a way to ease and to repair the pain and heal the relationship. So we asked you to, if we have made an error, to forgive us. We certainly have asked that as we met face to face with our brothers and sisters yesterday. We met, we talked together, we worked together, we worked through it, we talked about it yesterday. They're willing to give us a second chance, another chance. But it's important that as we move forward, having made these very, very difficult and painful decisions, that as we move forward, we not dwell so much on that which happened, only to acknowledge that it was painful, that it was hurtful, and that we now have to find a way to rekindle the expectations, rekindle the dreams, and this time to make sure that we will do it in a way that reaches ultimate fruition in terms of our dream, the dreams of our Haitian brothers and sisters being realized. We asked you to join us in that endeavor.
Thank you very much, Ron. And I just want to say, Ron, I think the sense of this delegation is that we're behind you. We're behind Ron. And tonight, and as we lead and as we go forward, what is important is that this delegation is unified in spirit, in purpose, and in commitment. Commitment beyond tonight, the purpose of the continuation of the work that I know we all want to do, and also unified because when we leave and go back to our own communities and hometowns, there will be many, many people we're going to come into contact with who are going to ask us about Haiti. Spirituality and inspiration, Queen Mother Adelaide Sampson.
I have been privileged to be asked to participate in this healing portion of the events today. I have seen miracles, and I recognize a miracle when I see a miracle. A part of that miracle is that I understand that we cannot always formulate perfect plans, that we cannot always anticipate all of the events that will occur. But what we are committed to is to valiantly struggle toward eternity, committed to the liberation of our people. The African proverb says that your teeth will bite your tongue in your own mouth, but you would not want to discard either of them. And so there are times to be a leader and there's a time to be a follower. I came to cruising into history as a follower, a person who respects leadership and who understands how heavy the burden is to a leader. And I am committed to say that as far as I'm concerned, I will valiantly confront evils that I cannot overcome by myself. And as I join hands with all those of us who valiantly fight to combat evils that we cannot erase by ourselves, that we say to the people of Haiti, 9 years there has been an involvement with Rwandans. One day of one event cannot erase that. We will keep coming on. We will keep coming back. We may stumble, but we'll stand up stronger than before we stumbled. And I believe that we are stronger because this has reminded us of our historic disappointments, our historic times when we wanted to do what we couldn't achieve. Certainly Harriet had times when she had to say to people who wanted to turn back, they said it was better to be with old Massa than to be out here with this woman who has the sleeping sickness. At least I had some food and a warm place to stay. She would pull out her rifle and she said, live free or die. We are determined to live free as strong and righteous people. We'll keep on, coming on, keeping on, believing, trusting, loving, embracing, hurting sometimes, but hugging the hurt away. We embrace this miracle which I have seen. The power of women who came together today and created a ritual, created music, created commitment, created a pathway through the future to bind us closer to women across the diaspora and to women in Haiti. Nothing can take that away. For there has been a foundational, fundamental change in our vision as we strive and build, not for today and tomorrow, but we are building for eternity, and we will keep on coming on.
Thank you, Queen Mother. Thank you. Now we want Judith Latone-Noel to join us at the front. Oh, there you are. I'm sorry.
Good evening, everyone. As a Haitian American, and of course you guys have heard me speak before, so you know about me. I do believe that there's a greater plan and a greater purpose, and I honor our Maker and I honor God because I remember praying and saying simply, God, Haiti needs help. Send us help. We are confronted in our country with many problems. But we have a social issue in the country that's demonic. And the reason why I say it's demonic is in a country that is so poor, you have so many families who are living so rich, so well. And yet, the poor population doesn't see a dime of that money that's being made. And yet, we are talking about reconciliation. How do we reconcile when your money stays in your pocket and you do not pay those who work for you fairly? How can you look at those who work for you in the face? Those who actually cook your food. You look at them in the face and you tell them you're not worth anything, but yet they're good enough to put food in your stomach. We have a big problem in the country. It's not only the government. The problem does not lie only with the government of Haiti. There's a miseducation. Yesterday, we had a chance to go outside of, well, we were in Labadie, but we had a chance to go into a little village on the territory of Labadie. When we got there, we love to meet the people. One thing that struck me funny was, I saw a little boy. There were two stories. A mother who lost her husband and she has 2 kids, and she borrows money to sell these little candies. Now, who is she selling these things to? I don't know, because the people in the community are poor. Another grandmother is raising her deceased son's daughter, whose mother abandoned her. The clothing, I didn't see any clothing. There was a deaf mute, didn't know anything about sign language. And I find it odd that 10 minutes away from Haiti's pride and joy of Labadie is this village that we were almost kept out of singing. I'm sorry, my mouth and my frankness gets me into a lot of trouble, so I expect to be in a lot of trouble. I care for the people of Haiti. I was raised in Haiti. I also continued my education in America. So there are a lot of things that my sister knows of that I don't know of. But I know for some reason I have a passion in my heart for children and for human beings and for black people, regardless of your shade, regardless of your color or where you come from. Regardless of it all, our ancestors were once stuck on the bottom of a boat. We all came out of Africa under a boat. Not on top of it, under it. Some of us, unfortunately, experienced some difficult times. Yes, you know. And the shades of color really does not says who we are. We have to, the same people who are poor, if they were also educated, they would be in the same position as you today. There's no difference between them and us. It's just we had the opportunity to get an education, and they, for some reason, they're not. So I'm speaking for them. I would ask that you now become their voice, because no, they're being held back, and they're being held back by a mentality that is dangerous. Okay? So you now must be their voice. You now must fight for them. You now must say enough is enough. You now must say to them, you are equal to me. You are equal to those who you work for. You are equal to those and you can do great things. It is time that we break down that social barrier that's in Haiti and that is also all over the world. Enough is enough.
Bon Dieu, dis-moi malade, moi couché, m'bassa dis-moi malade, couché, m'bassa adieu, pas Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes